I am Jessica. I am 38 years old. I have been employed for the past 9 years. In the capacity of Senior Account Manager for Halverson Dynamics, a medium-sized engineering enterprise that persevered on accuracy, punctuality, and client confidence. I was not the most noisy in the boardroom or the most eye-catching at networking events, but I established client relationships that endured. This organization collaborates through 2 distinct markets: disasters and a pandemic. On that particular morning commenced as any other. I was conducting an assessment, final details for a critical contract. Hensley has entered into a multi-year supply agreement. The aerospace sector is valued at more than $12 million. I had dedicated 7 months to the task. Innumerable international calls, late evenings, the typical grind, emergency encounters. Nevertheless, this agreement would guarantee not only the future of the team, but also the future of the complete company years of stability. At approximately 9:15 a.m., I entered the conference room with a laptop in hand. The documents are in hand, produced, and signed. By both legal teams are prepared for the final decision, review of the consumer. The room was entirely occupied, and Hensley executives, their legal counsel, and our internal leadership. Then there was him, Ethan Caldwell, our new Chief Executive Officer, a consultant who transitioned to an executive position after earning with an extensive LinkedIn profile that includes buzzwords such as agile and disruption mentality. He had been with us for precisely 6 months. Weeks. There was no greeting from him when I approached. You recently provided me with that corporate shark." I smiled as I sat down at the conclusion of the counter. I initiated my presentation directory. That was the moment when it transpired. Ethan rose from his seat, adjusted his designer suit, and appeared directly at me. "Jessica, I am grateful. Your years of service," he stated, his voice trembling, placid, almost amicable, yet effective without delay. "Your current role is terminated." The room became frozen. I briefly opened my eyes. The hand remained affixed to the container. It was as though I were experiencing each a pair of eyes transitions from him to me. Subsequent Hensley, the COO, was a woman whom I had flown to Tokyo, stared at Ethan with the same intensity as last spring. He had recently acquired antlers. I made the necessary modifications. I am currently in possession of a collection of documents. I hope that the contract signing tomorrow proceeds as planned, intended. Ethan exhaled a brief, arid chuckle. "Which agreement?" He smirked, casting a glance at the Hensley crew, such as this was some inside jest. I gazed into his eyes. "Assume you will discover the answer." The silence struck with force. Just for a moment, no one spoke. Ethan then extended his hand. "Thank you for your time, Jessica. HRI will be in contact." I assembled my possessions, meticulously, methodically, without any spectacle, without scene. However, within, I experienced a sudden, acute sensation in my body. Chest. Not fear, not humiliation, something that is significantly cooler. I exited the building without turning around. At 11:45 a.m. I was alone at Millstone Cafe at 8 a.m., 2 blocks from the office. Suddenly, my phone vibrated, twice with inquiries from HR. I permitted them to depart. To the voicemail. Stirring my coffee, I gazed at the My Client binder is located in my purse. The binder Ethan was unaware that it existed, due to the fact that this is the nature of commerce. Databases do not contain relationships. They reside within individuals. Ethan was unaware that I had personally negotiated Hensley's the engineering requirements down to the microspecies. He was unaware that their chief operating officer harbored a strong aversion to direct communication, negotiations with CEOs and preferable administrators of trusted relationships. He was unaware that I had resolved their issue. At 3 hours in the previous quarter, there was a supplier crisis A.M. on a Sunday. However, he was on the brink of doing so find out. At 2 p.m. I contacted Helen, my mother.mentor and former director, prior to her retired last year. I had not communicated with her since her retirement celebration. She responded with astonishment. Jess? Everything okay? Ethan terminated my employment. A brief intermission, followed by a exhale gradually. He terminated your employment prior to the Hensley executed the document. Right in front of them. An additional delay. He is a corpse that is still alive. I beamed. For the first time that day. That is what I anticipated you would say. You possess their relationships. The keys are in your possession. They will accompany you on your journey. I consumed my beverage by sipping it. Coffee. We shall observe. I occupied my kitchen table at 5:30 p.m., observing the sun's descent behind the horizon. My phone vibrated in response to a text message from Sophie, the account manager for Hensley. Is it accurate to say that you are no longer affiliated with Halverson? I gazed at the screen for an extended period of time. Subsequently, I responded with, "It is accurate." Her response was immediate. "It is imperative that urgent conversation is required." I reclined in my chair, my heart rate increasing, consistent. Ethan believed that I was merely a name on a payroll sheet. He would discover that I, tomorrow morning, was. The rationale behind the agreement, and I had not yet commenced. At 7:30 a.m., I sat at my usual desk the following morning, corner table in the beverage and company area. Subsequent coffee shop located across the block, the headquarters of Halverson. My laptop I was not working, but the door was open. Not yet. I waited. At precisely 8:05 a.m., the telephone vibrated. Jessica, Sophie, we are removing the signature. We will not relocate. Forward, without your assistance. I reviewed the correspondence, twice. Not agitated, not perplexed, but composed. I responded with a single phrase, acknowledged. I reclined and observed the office, windows located on the opposite side of the street. Halverson's. The logo was highly visible on the glass. Sleek, contemporary, outstanding, a flawless representation of all that Ethan is Caldwell desired for individuals to hold beliefs regarding company. However, within those confines, cracks were developing. At 8:42 a.m., Carla, my erstwhile assistant, sent me a text message. Ethan is causing a disturbance in the office. Hensley has recently contacted me. They stated that they will not sign until they have had the opportunity to communicate with you directly. He is in a state of panic. I take a slow, deliberate taste of